Let's go, baby. We live, man. Roll it.
What's up?
Dude, it's fucking podcast day.
Welcome.
G'day.
Welcome, everybody. How we all doing? We having a good time. I hope everyone's having a great fucking week out there. Everyone's having a good Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Almost the weekend. Let's bring it on. Let's have a good Thursday night. Let's fucking put ourselves in a good mood for tomorrow, for Friday. We just set off on the weekend on a great fucking journey. So let's go. Let's make this happen. How you doing, Kyle?
Bro, I woke up this morning and I was like, bro, it's podcast day. It's fucking podcast day. I was ready.
You excited?
I was
man?
ready,
You
bro.
ready?
I'm ready. I'm beyond
I don't know
ready.
if I can wait. I can't wait, man. Let's bring our fucking guest in.
Dude, let's do
bring
it.
Our guest
Let's
in.
fucking do
Let's bring
it.
our guest in. Here we go. Here we go,
You
ladies
ready?
and gentlemen. Welcome onto the podcast. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. Australia's own KIDCRUSHER!
Hey guys, how you doing?
Man.
G'day.
I can't believe we have KIDCRUSHER on tonight. How fucking good is that? What is going on, all you chat monsters out there?
Yeah, not doing too much. Freaking Thursday's Thursday, like I say, excited for tomorrow. Yeah, just thanks for having us on the podcast. Big up to Sarah, big fan. We've been knowing the guy for a long time, so yeah, down for
Yeah,
the
man,
whole
and thank you so much, man. Like, thank you so much for coming on. Like I was saying, we were chatting a little bit before. This is kind of a new project for myself. I've not really delved into podcasting before,
He's
except when
so
jumping on
good
a
at
couple
it.
of your ones. Kyle and I decided to kick this one off, and we had a pilot episode last week. It seems to have done okay. So well, thank you for jumping on this first official episode.
First guest.
lending a little bit of credibility to it, man. Like that's fucking
Not a problem, man. Freaking always down to help you out, man.
yeah. So how we doing, boys? What have you been listening to lately? What's the go?
I'm interested in what KIDCRUSHER's been listening to, man.
I actually don't listen to a lot of rap, which surprises people. I'm more into metal, but more rap metal as well. I'm even listening to more older music that I used to listen to back in the 90s and early 2000s. But if you're saying new, I'm recently been possessed by deathcore, which is a new genre to me. It's really influenced me in my latest album. Bands like Sworn In and Attila, I'm freaking obsessed with them. Amure, anyone that's got that really high freaking creepy background, tingy guitars with the chunks, it gives me goosebumps.
Yes.
Other than that, soundtracks, man. I'm a soundtrack junkie. I've just started collecting vinyls, do vinyl DJ shows now. So like I've just expanded into about 60 vinyls in a year. Pretty much all soundtracks though. Yeah.
Film soundtracks?
Yeah, I got film soundtracks. So I just recently got all the new Slipknot album reissues that just dropped, which
No shit.
Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful. I'm digging
Collector's
that.
items. Collector's items.
I like that. Yeah, my room's turning into an organized mess. just crap.
Oh, dude,
everywhere.
you should see the photo I posted before, like a bit earlier today of my setup here. It's like cables running everywhere and shit. It's an absolute fucking pigsty,
cables.
but
Can't do the cables, man. You got to organize those cables, man. That stresses me out.
I'm sitting with my wife's Just Love poster right behind me.
what about you, Kyle? What have you been jumping
Dude,
on lately?
I have gone. I don't know what's been going on with me, but I've been going on this mad rap journey. So I've been listening to like a fuckload of Juice WRLD. There is just something that does it for me. With him in particular, with the whole, I don't know, I guess you'd call it, what is it? The auto-tune rap and shit, but fuck.
Yeah.
That Oliver Tree and 3 Hour Flight just released a new song, The Boys from Queensland, and fuck.
Yeah, we played with them a couple of times now. They're pretty good. Bit of the old pop punk.
Man, they've really
Vibe,
they've really tickled my pickle in that sense. I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, they're a good team there. I mean, KC talking about going back to some stuff from some classic stuff.
Yeah,
from back
dude,
in
what
the
have
day.
you been listening to, Raph?
I've been jamming on a lot of Slipknot, like first couple of albums. Very like Iowa never goes out of style. Iowa still to this day I think is one of the heaviest albums ever. So I'm all about that shit. Hoping we can. What's he digging out?
Ooh.
What's he digging out?
Oh, the collector's items.
What's he digging out there? What do we got? Oh, yes, absolutely. Still to this day, I just think the aggression, the absolute aggression that's on record in that second album of theirs, Iowa, is just Yeah, unparalleled, I think, to this day. And in contrast to that as well, a little bit of, I don't know if you've heard of these guys, Beatallica. They basically mash up Metallica and Beatles songs.
No shit.
And no, I'm dead serious. And so they'll sing like, so instead of I want to hold your hand, it'll be like I want to choke your band. And the guy sings it with like a full-on Hetfield voice. Instead of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, it'll be St. Anger's,
Where did
Lonely
they
Hearts
come
Club
up
Band.
with
Or
shit?
instead of Back in the USSR, it's Blackened in the USSR. All kinds of, and
Ugh.
yeah, it's all you need is Saint Love. It's just like yeah, it's funny as shit. I love it. It's really, really good. Leper Madonna instead of Leper Messiah. Yeah, really
Oh,
entertaining.
man.
Really entertaining. And I go back to them every so often. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like the production is not the greatest because they were obviously done on a budget and everything, but they're, they're it's very talented to mix the stuff together.
That's a very niche market.
It's very funny though. It really is. I get a good big old kick out of that.
Fuck.
I get a big old kick out of that. If anyone's watching and wants to jump in on the chat, jump in with some questions, say hey, we'll try and get them answered for you.
And please just let us know if the sound's okay. Just at least just start off the night with that. Just let us know if it's molto bene.
Yeah. Anyway, should we keep things rolling and get onto the music news?
I'm gonna hit the cutaway.
Oh, hit the button.
Hit the button.
The music news.
That is so bad. I hate my voice.
All right. We can re-record some more down the line.
It's just
all right. Well, let's kick this right off, shall we? Let's keep the shit rolling. So first up, now look, we do like to try and focus on Australian music scene here. Hey, Daddy Frank's in the chat.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much. So we like to mostly try and focus on Australian music industry news, but this one I think is fairly important. It's a bit more of a global story. So investment bank Goldman Sachs has released they do this annual report called Music in the Air. And it's, it forecasts where they think the music industry is headed in terms of financial growth and things like that. In the current predictions, they reckon that by 2030, the global music industry is expected to be worth over $150 billion.
That's US,
Now,
which is equivalent to like
US.
200 billion Australian. Close to.
Yep, roughly. And, that is double of what the total worldwide music business revenues were last year. So we're looking at almost doubling in less than 10 years, basically. Now, this covers a whole range of stuff. This covers everything from music sales, streaming income, rights fees, trading. And if you factor in live music business as well, on top of all that, the figure starts nudging towards US $200 billion.
Which is about, what is it, three?
So you'd be looking about, nearing on
$300
million, yeah.
Well, no, it's billion. 300 billion. That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as
how
I'm
much
sure
of
we
that
all
do you
know,
reckon would go to the musician?
not nearly enough.
Yeah, fuck all.
Not nearly enough.
That's all Spotify revenue.
KC, you can probably attest to this. Like, I know your stuff gets a fair few streams, but how much of that are you seeing on the regular, man? Like, I know a lot of it, Spotify takes their cut and everything. Like,
because if I actually worked out the math right, you actually nearly hit 100 million.
I have no idea.
But
ever since Spotify really kind of hit its mark, and I released an album in 2018. Like, compared to 2014 and 2018, 2014 was the last time I really financially benefited off an album. When I released the 2018 album, I'm like, why are these numbers so low? And I realized that Spotify was at its prime around that time. So Spotify is fucking hurting really bad. I'll tell you that. It's okay, but it's usually around 4 times better.
So even for someone like you that has 100% ownership of all of your music, there's
fucking
if you're having
very smart.
if you're then getting if you're getting other parties involved, like music labels and stuff, it's very, very hard for artists to make money now. It's a bit like Bitcoin and stuff. If you're not at the top of the game, if you didn't get in early on the right channels, it really starts to become a struggle. And
now it is. Fuck, I lost $400. I only put 5 in. I lost 400 of it. Fuck.
income from like most MP3s now come from sync rights and stuff in like YouTube and etc. like that, and you have to pay like 50% royalties to obtain those, so you're getting jacked off that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every stage of the system's designed to just benefit off the artist's work,
Slice
unfortunately.
up a bit of the cheese. Slice
But
up a bit of the cheese.
hopefully, I mean, look, I know things aren't going to change until big artists do what they need to do, and too many of them are benefiting off it too much to go, like, they don't. I don't think a lot of them don't really care. They're like, well, if I make $10 million this year off my streams, that's great. Like, why would I pull it out and pull my music off and not get that just to try and get $11 million next year or $12 million? You know what I mean?
I don't think
most of them I don't think are in a position to do that.
Fuck, I don't think people understand the disparity between $1 million and $1 billion, but do you know what I mean? But no, this is a thing. Like, where the artist is earning millions, the Spotifys and the record companies are the ones that are raking in the billions and all of this.
Yeah. But I think, it's this is why, we always try and encourage people, if you want to support your favorite artists, go and buy a copy of the CD.
Fucking oath, man.
Completely agree. Like, vinyl's really making a comeback too, and I've just started releasing my albums on vinyl. Got 6 of them up now.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
I just relaunched my website. I used to do Victim Gear, and now it's all done through KIDCRUSHER.com. And like you say, right, if you like the Spotify stuff, please grab a CD. It really does help. Otherwise, like, I'm still doing fine. I'm gonna make music regardless because I love making music. I mean, that's how I started. I made music for myself because I liked making music. I'm my own biggest fan, to be honest. I'm doing this because I love it.
The fact that you walk into it with saying that it ain't about the money just means so much more to it. Just shows your true colors in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, man. Like, most of the time I'm touring, I'm breaking even. Cause most of the time I'm the opening act, which is completely fine because, like, I ain't gonna be racking out all the money to set up the tour. So you
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, we always say, like, if you like an artist, if you're a fan of them, definitely go out and buy their merch, buy their CDs, because you buy a copy of the CD, that's worth thousands of streams of it. So
100%.
Even if you don't want to, even if you're not gonna listen to it on CD, if you really want to support them, that's absolutely a smart way to go.
And not just that, the more CDs you buy, it keeps the merch costs down.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, if you actually go out and buy those little, it's supposed to pay $50 for a t-shirt, you're getting it down to, like, the 30s and stuff like that.
I ain't gonna push no one right here to buy a CD, but vinyls look cool. You can put them on display for those who don't have a vinyl player. Other than that, my shirts only cost $20, and
dude, are you serious?
Well, so. Yeah, man, grab my shirt.
No,
I'm
getting fucking off this and buying one right now. I'm gonna put it behind me.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Definitely worth getting the shirt. That reminds me, I need to buy a couple more. My other ones are getting real faded and ripped up and shit. So I wear them too much. I need to buy some more. Anyway, let's bring this back to the next little news story here. What do you got, Kyle?
All right, so Ian Dickinson and the other key Australian music industry figures have launched the Sunshine Coast Music Industry Collective in an effort to, and I quote, supercharge the sector of recovery from COVID, which obviously hit the music industry very harder than most people it hit was the artist. And a quote from, I don't know who, but we're going to put a quote in there, is that we are hoping for, I'm pretty sure it was from Ian Dicko.
From Dicko, yeah.
Yeah, from Dicko. We are hoping everyone, from someone who has just picked up a guitar in the last 6 months to a band that has been around for 10 years, comes along and explores the possibilities you are offered when you really start to collaborate with people in a meaningful sense. Now, obviously musicians just mold together. So realistically, the whole purpose of this is to try and get people into the right contacts.
Yeah. That's from what I was able to read up about it. It seems to be that they're trying to help, artists connect with the right industry figures in terms of from a business perspective.
Yep.
Which is important because a lot of us, we don't necessarily know where to start.
Yep.
When we don't know how to contact some of these people, and by having these seminars and having these events, it gives local artists a chance to make some of those connections, I
Well,
think, which is a really good idea.
Especially considering I didn't know that you could actually go for grants even as a YouTuber and stuff like that. You can actually apply for grants off the government as an artist, but I would never fucking do that. I work full time and that's the sort of. But excuse me, they had their launch on the eve of on the 16th of June. And it looks like they are already running and organising musician development events. From what I can gather, the goal seems to be a range of live events to get talent in front of key industry players.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but it can be a good and a bad thing, man. You waive a contract in front of any inspiring band, you can get very fucking taken advantage of. Plus running the numbers of seminars, development events, and helpful guide to musician careers.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'll be honest. Being so close to the Sunshine Coast up here, I've definitely taken an interest in this. I've followed the page because I want to try and keep on top of events. Hopefully they are.
Hopefully
across a range of genres. Because I mean, look, all of us are interested in more alternative genres of music here. KC, I'm sure you've got plenty of people that have oh yeah, we're industry people, we support music, and then they hear something like what you're doing and they'll be like, yeah, but maybe I don't support that, because it's they want to support
popular shit. They don't want fucking niche markets that they have to work on. Fuck, be honest about it. Like, that's a fucking cold hard truth. They want, and let's be honest, I'm going to fucking say it straight here. They want some like fucking 15-year-old piece of jailbait that can fucking half hold a note that they can put on a stage and make money off. There's
definitely industry people like that. There's definitely industry
that's where the money is.
Like that. There is, and it's like everything else.
Britney fucking Spears, like, come on.
And look, I mean, again, KC, you'll be able to confirm this. Like, people in the industry don't want to deal with you until you're making enough money and they can just glom onto that and make some money off of you.
I guess when they would see those types of numbers you get on your own these days with YouTube and all that, if they see you've got numbers there that they could potentially make money off, I'd assume some places, not all labels, would go for someone like that. Or, not necessarily all of them, because some of them they see potential in. But like, I ain't bagging on them for that. That's what if you want to sign a record label, that's what you're in for.
Fucking 100%.
So,
because I'm reading it here and I'm like, dude, like as much as it's good, because I do remember reading this. As much as it's good, dude, so many people can get taken advantage from this.
I honestly don't really mind the idea because, like I said, I'm not in it for the money at all. So, like, for someone to do half the work for me, which is a lot of work.
It is.
Get touring, get promoted, get in magazines, get in interviews, get pushed, all that type of shit. It's a lot of work that unsigned artists like myself, they won't even look at because you don't have either the money or the backing or promotion or whatever, the management to do it. I've only had a manager for a year and we didn't really get far with that either, but I would potentially be open to something like that to progress further than as long as I've been underground,
Perspective. See, I'm so happy you're on perspective because I'm just looking at that. I'm just looking at that as a cynical arsehole. You just put that into so much perspective for me as far as all that little nitty gritty bits of work goes. Like they'd give you like a social media manager. They'd give you like you would never have to post anything. You'd just be like, I feel like this today, and they'd be like, okay, we'll get this out properly. I guess in a sense that's a good thing.
Yeah. So like at all, it's just not a greedy thing I see. And some labels are different than others, and probably are just completely taking advantage of people. But there are those that are hustling.
Absolutely. You got to be. Like there's always going to be sharks out there, and it's just a matter of if you especially if you're at one of these events and someone offers you something. If anyone watching this is at some of those events, performing at one of them, want to go to these events, read over it, get legal advice. Don't just get swept up in it and sign anything because that's how you get screwed over. I'm not saying that every contract's going to screw you, but just be fully aware of what you're signing and how it can lead to things. But yeah, I mean, I'm look, as I said to you, Kyle, when we were discussing this previously in the run up to the podcast as well, I think it sounds like a great idea. I'm very keen to follow the events and see if what it can do for the local scene. If it can rebuild the local scene, get some vitality back in it, that's great. That's great.
If it puts right people in the right places and the right
Yeah.
contacts, it can do a lot of good.
Yeah, a rising tide lifts all ships, and I think anything that can potentially help the local industry to rebuild. Because look, as I've said it before, man, Queensland, the scene around
You're
Brisbane,
different.
Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast is going crazy.
It's
So
fucking yeah.
it's yeah. So moving on to our next story. Again, this is an Australian story, but this is also concerning a music label.
This is big fucking news, man.
This is pretty big. So
This
Sony
is.
Australia has appointed a woman to the top position for the first time ever. Vanessa Picken will commence the new role in September. And now, those of you who follow the music industry news will remember that Dennis Handlin had previously been the head at Sony Music Australia for a very, very long time. He'd been working for the company 37 years, and he'd been at the top for about half of that, I think. But it was a bit controversial circumstances under which he left. There was a lot of claims around bullying and a toxic workplace environment, so he was kind of given the boot, and the role's been empty since then until now. So Vanessa Picken will be coming in.
Isn't she like 36 years old?
I don't know how old she is.
I'm pretty sure she's like 36. Like she's young.
I probably should have looked that up, but there you go. Early days in the journalist. But no, but she's going to be overseeing all the artist signings, marketing, business decisions when she starts in September. She previously ran EMI. If you guys remember that label, she was running EMI for about 10 years ago in Australia, and she's been running an independent record label, PIAS. I don't know if that stands for something, but she's been in Los Angeles basically for the last 10 years running that. So she's got a lot of experience working for and running labels. Sounds like she's someone that's got her head screwed on straight. Hopefully she comes in and, she can make for a positive change, fix up the working environment around there, because by all accounts it was a pretty dodgy place to work.
Well, from a quote, like if you don't mind me just jumping in, from a quote that I heard from Kyle Sanderlands, that I saw in there, is that he was allegedly just one of those drunk bosses that likes to yell at people all the time.
I mean, yeah, if you've been a boss in things for that long,
but the industry out there,
but the industry's moved on from that. Business in general has moved on from that. You can't be that kind of boss anymore. So I mean, hey, good riddance to bad rubbish, and let's get Vanessa in there and see what she can do. I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it.
It's gonna be very fucking interesting what she does.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so
overseas news, man. Overseas news. We got the great Ozzy Osbourne has just had surgery to realign pins in his neck. Too much headbanging, people. I'm sure there's going to be a good chunk of us that'll be there one day if we make it to Ozzy's extreme age. According to reports, the surgery was a success, which is a very good thing because he was seen walking out of hospital. Ozzy has confirmed he's back at home. The surgery went well. And I think there you go. There might be some touring after he's fucking healed up.
Well, I don't know.
No, sorry. I think it's safe to say that the chances of further touring or live performances of Ozzy Osbourne are fucking done and dusted.
Yeah, man.
I read that wrong.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right. I should try and be a little more clear in my notes.
No, you just...
Yeah.
No, that was just me.
I mean, look, I went to download 2019 in Australia because I was hoping, because, that was going to be part of the Aussie farewell tour. And safe to say I was very disappointed when he had to pull out of that.
Yeah, I saw him at the Ace Arena. I couldn't watch. I could only listen. So...
Yeah.
Me and a friend. He can't do it no more, man.
He's. I think we can say Ozzy's live stuff's pretty much done. Maybe like one final farewell show somewhere, but I think he's pretty much done, man. Like he's been through so much stuff, and it's look, if he can still sing really well.
To be fair, the guy was eating the guy was eating bats before it was cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. What do you think, Casey? Do you reckon we'll see any more shows from Ozzy Osbourne, or do you reckon he's done and dusted?
I mean, all the more power to him. I think I seen some quote from that article that, like, he's gonna keep going until he can.
I reckon. Yeah, one more.
I've not been a huge fan of him, but like I respect the dude. And like I like Metallica as well. They're slowing down as well. So who knows, man? I
Mm.
really don't know. Like if like say my favorite band was at that age, and I'll like encourage them to keep going as well. Violent J's signing off, basically touring
Yeah, yeah.
internationally as well, which is sad. Hopefully he still makes it down under. I know he's dealing with some stuff right now as we
Mm.
speak, which is quite concerning. So like health comes first, like
Absolutely.
me personally, I just prefer making music and doing music videos. So touring wasn't even wasn't something I actually was planning on doing until it blew up. So like I can't see me being an active screaming, jumping up and down crazy at that age. But
But it wasn't. When I saw him at Acer Arena, I couldn't watch it because it was just. Like, I love Ozzy Osbourne, but it was just an old man trudging his way with his head forward up and down the stage. But when I went outside and I just sat, drank, and listened to him, it was the best thing fucking ever, because he's just he's still fucking got it.
yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's also So I was fortunate enough to catch Black Sabbath in 2013 and 2016, and like physically, yes, he's kind of hobbling, pretty much is the most accurate description.
That's not the
Hobbling
way I
around the
want to
stage.
remember Ozzy.
But yeah, vocally, he still knows how to work a crowd. He still knows how to do all that. So all the best to him. Hopefully, hopefully he's recovered as quickly as he's able to.
I don't pray much Ozzy, but for you, brother.
So like, look, good luck to him, good vibes and all that, and hopefully he's look, as you say, man, as you say, Casey, like, health comes first. So as long as he's happy and healthy, and then that's the main thing. And if there is any final shows, then I guess that remains to be seen. So our last little news story for the day. Now this is actually something that you're connected with, Casey. You're connected with this one. You're connected with this one, KC. So, KC, you, I believe, took part in the competition for Wacken Open Air Festival to win a spot on that.
Yes.
We want to give a big shout out and much love to our boys in Lycanthrope, Sydney metalcore band Lycanthrope. They actually won the Australia-New Zealand final to go out and represent Australia and New Zealand at Wacken Open Air. So good on them. So much love to those boys. I know they've been working really, really hard, and they're all incredibly talented. I'm sure that most of the bands in the contest were incredibly talented. I mean, how was the Adelaide one there, KC? Was that pretty good?
Yeah, to clarify, it wasn't KIDCRUSHER who did it. It was my side band, K-Band.
Oh, K-Band. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we were really excited to do it. However, I speak too negative on it. The venue was probably one of the worst venues in Adelaide to play. So we're already going, this is really bad sound system, really small room.
Oh, okay.
And when we got on stage, little did we know we wouldn't be able to hear each other. We were going out of sync like crazy. So it's like, oh my god.
No.
Let me put this in perspective. Just because we did that show, we all invested thousands of dollars into ear monitoring just because we did that. We're not playing a show without ear monitors ever again. Because we fell on our ass at that one. And but yeah, no, the rest of the bands were awesome. I think Swordfish Trombone won our one, and the bass player is actually a fan of mine, so it was really cool to hear that. When someone says that to me, I'm shocked. I'm like, oh, you're a fan, awesome. Like I'm not used to that. I figure, like, especially in my local town, it's really small. So I'm a little blown away when someone says they're a fan of mine from my hometown. Usually when I go elsewhere is when.
Nah, that's fucking cool, man. That is so cool. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it's a shame to hear the venue didn't seem to be a great pick, and that there was clearly some technical issues on the day.
No, I'm not salty about it at all. We weren't out there to win. We're like, especially with Caveman, we're not out there to make it big. We're just it's a joke. It's not really a joke. It's a serious joke. So like Psycho Stick, like, we're just having fun.
Yeah.
We're just literally, I'm doing it for fun. It's my side thing. KIDCRUSHER is my main jam.
Yeah, it's fun music, but you're serious about it.
Yeah, I guess.
so-
No, like,
That's, no, that's cool. That's cool, man.
it's
you know,
nice that
but,
you have that outlet, like that you have the
Yeah.
opportunity to sort of to branch out into other things, you know,
Oh,
like,
man,
and that people want to collaborate.
Yeah, that's what Caveman's there for. It was actually I started Caveman before KIDCRUSHER, but it was like off and on. So it's just something I see potential in that could go somewhere. And I got a good group of local guys, and we're always jamming. So we're just having fun, flat out. So like if anything pops up, that's great. But we're not really like all tense about it. We're gonna make it. We're just having fun.
That's
That's all it's
awesome.
about.
That's at the end of the day, that's what's most important. So yeah, good luck to the boys in Lycanthrope as they jet off to Wacken Open Air later this year. You know, they've absolutely worked their asses off, as I said. So yeah, mad shout out to those lads. All right, well that's our last news story there. Do you want to take us into the next section, Kyle?
Ooh, do I ever?
Bit of fun.
Because guess what? We're talking this day in music. It's the 23rd of the 6th, so let's do it.
Boom.
Beautiful. All right. This day in music, the 23rd of June, the Beatles had their 10th consecutive UK #1 single with Paperback Writer. This featured a boosted bass sound with a cut louder than previous Beatle releases. Mate, they broke recording ground on this day. In 1975, Alice Cooper fell from the stage during his show Welcome to My Nightmare. Lucky it was 1975, because if it happened now, I think it would fucking end a lot different for Alice Cooper.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's getting up there, man. He's just about the same age as
man.
Ozzy, isn't he?
Dude, Homeboy broke 6 ribs on that.
Oof. Ouch.
Oh, man, 1989. So 3 years after Beer Buddy was born, George Michael received the Silver Clef Award for outstanding achievements to British music, and it is so well deserved. So well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a man. He's a man. Buddy Holly,
Absolutely.
Gibson acoustic guitar. Fuck me, sold for 139,658 pounds or quid, whatever you want to call it. For context, with the account of inflation, we're nudging across 500,000 Australian dollars for a Gibson.
Man, that was
for a Gibson acoustic.
Yeah, it's Buddy Holly's Gibson acoustic, man. Like you can't undersell how precious something like that is.
Oh, I'm a bit disappointed with this next one because it must be a very lull period for heavy metal in 1996 because Metallica's Load album went #1 in the US charts.
Mate, shut up. Load's a good fucking
It's
album.
not!
It is. I don't give a fuck, man. There's plenty of good things about Load and Reload.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
not the same. It's not thrash metal, but it's good fucking songs. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough. What's some good nights at the Cranker? I have no idea. What's the Cranker?
That's the venue that we played at Wacken as well. That was just shit talk.
Oh, right. Okay. Cheers. Thank you, Cock, for backing me up. Thank you. And Cookie J, is that a hill I'm willing to die on? You're damn right it's a hill I'm willing to die on. Load and Reload are good fucking albums. I'm sorry. Sorry if that upsets you. I'm sorry if that upsets the fucking, the people that are like, the people that insist that Metallica's only good albums are their first 4 albums are the same fucking Slayer fans that rioted
Anything after Black is shit.
At Soundwave when Slayer couldn't play.
I remember that. I was there. They set a bin on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, that was too fucking funny. That was so good. But in saying that, okay, we'll forget that. Let's use that anger because fucking in 2009, Chris Brown
on this day,
on this day, the 23rd in 2009, Chris Brown pled guilty to 1 count of assault on Rihanna. I love Rihanna. I would never hurt Rihanna. Why would you hit Rihanna? Oh, Daddy Frank's gonna go cry now. Look what you did. That's you. That's you. That's
sorry,
you,
sorry, Daddy Frank. I don't want to. I don't mean to upset you, but you know, it is what it is. I can't help it if I have, you know, superior taste.
Unfortunately, Sarah gets the same sentence of as Chris Brown, and he gets 5 years probation and 6 months community service.
Oh, mate.
And on this day, the birthdays we're covering, 1929, Ducata Cash was born. She was a singer-songwriter and Johnny Cash's wife. In 1940, Stuart Stewcliffe was born, the original bass player from the Beatles.
Imagine that. Imagine being like the OG bass player of the Beatles, and then they get literally the biggest band in the world, and you're like,
I bet you it's like that TV show, that British, like they kicked him out the day before, and then they got the record deal. And in 1960, Brendan O'Brien, producer, engineer, mixer for AC/DC, Bruce Springsteen, the Black Crowes, Aerosmith, was born on this day. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Jeez.
Brendan O'Brien, man. If you guys liked anything from sort of like that 70s, 80s, 90s rock and roll, this guy's probably had his fucking finger in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, mad love. Happy birthday to all of those people. All right, what's next, man? What's next?
Dude,
what we got?
You know what next is? We're going to talk about what we've been listening to. So it is review time.
Woo!
Let's go, baby. It is review time. You want to kick it? You want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll kick this one off, man. Let me get my notes here. What's up, Wilson Jacob? Let's go, mofos. All right. So this one was interesting for me because I reviewed a band that
Thanks, man.
I have heard of but literally never listened to before. So
hold on. You've never listened to this band?
Never listened to this band prior to reviewing this album.
Fuck.
I mean, maybe have heard a song somewhere and not realized it was them, but I have never gone out of my way to listen to this band. So I have reviewed the new album from Memphis Mayfire. The album's called Remade in Misery. It came out on the 3rd of June. It is actually their 7th album. So if you don't know these guys, they're a metalcore band.
They're very fucking good.
They are. I was actually quite impressed. Really, really, really impressed. Oh, Frank made you come to the show.
Thanks, Frank.
Again, thank you, Frank.
And how you going, Wilson?
Okay. Doing okay, man. We're just hanging out. So, yeah, this, look, it's a very modern sounding album. This album from Memphis Mayfire. It's really good. It's a great example of, you know, it's like very typical metalcore, but I think it blends a lot of modern production elements in. You know, minor use of like synth elements in the background there, and to, you know, create some dynamics in there. So like the band will kind of go quiet and there'll be like a synthy bit there, and then it'll all come back in. You know, that sort of stuff. Quite down-tuned guitars in parts, almost a djenty kind of sound, but not full-on djent style.
That must be a new thing.
Some of the breakdowns are very like nudging towards like djenty kind of stuff there. You know, as with a lot of metalcore stuff, you know, a nice balance of clean and screaming vocals, you know, so that's always nice, you know, to get that balance. Again, that variety is really important, I think. If you just got one, if you're all like, if it's all up here, there's nowhere to go, right? Like you got to go up and down to get the experience of it. The drums are fucking huge sounding. Like the drums sound enormous, man. Like it's probably one of the best drum sounds I've heard on an album this year. Like just really, really big sounding drums on that, which I'm always a big fan of. You know, I like it when the kick sounds like it's literally trying to make my head cave in. So
I love
that's
that.
pretty good.
I love the fact that you went there. I love Memphis Mayfire. He's got a great voice, man.
Yeah, big fan of that. The one thing, look, in terms of production side, like if it was me doing it, I found that I didn't feel like I could really hear the bass a lot. Not that there wasn't bass in the frequency spectrum there. I just feel like the bass guitar wasn't really
that's because you're a bass player.
But that is part of it, and to be fair, it seems like it's probably because the bass is mainly playing the root notes along with the guitar power chords here, which does tend to make it fade into the background a little bit. And a good thing about bass as well is a good mixing technique is if you don't notice the bass, then it's mixed properly. You know, like it's mixed properly when you don't notice it if it's there, but if it's gone, you notice that it's gone, right? So I think that's kind of the philosophy that whoever produced that album went for with it, which is fine. Like, not saying it sounds bad, it sounds good, but it's just my preference. So maybe if they were playing bass a little bit differently, it's a bit more how I play it, throwing in some more passing notes and some transition bits, it probably might stand out a bit more. But it's really, really good for what it is. There, it absolutely is.
I think
There's
every bass album should have the corny slap in there.
Oh, that's actually really funny. You bring that up. That's such a good segue because
every band seems to bury their bass, but Korn is right there, and Mudvayne is fucking. It stands out.
Definitely.
So my review was of Korn Requiem.
Oh, my bad.
Awesome.
No, it's so good you brought that up because the bass wasn't prominent enough in it.
Oh, really? I haven't really listened to it yet.
Dude, neither have I, and that's why I thought I'd go. I thought this week I'm going to delve back into my roots because I really, honestly have not been listening to a lot of overseas stuff lately. I've been really sort of trying to pick away at the roots of the Aussie music scene. So I thought I'm going to go back. So I just typed in Korn in Spotify. I haven't listened to the album, and wow. For the most part, it was fucking fantastic. But it left me wanting more in the sense that I missed that underproduced Korn. It was very well produced. The sounds were amazing. But it felt like too much for me, for my expectation as a Korn fan. I missed that dirty... but man, it was just... It's just so much pain and anger in it. Jonathan really stepped it up lyrically wise. Normally, Jonathan Davis lyrics are very sort of not very expansive. But this one, he really hit the nail on the head. However, for me, as a Korn fan, it stepped into too much synth. Had so much fucking synth in it. It felt very overproduced, but at the same time, it showed how far they've become as writers of music compared to like when you compare, say, the 1992 or 1994 first Korn album, and if you listen to them like the first Korn album and then you listen to this new Korn album, wow, they're really, really, really progressed as musicians, and the recording quality, I just missed that dirty grunge sound that came along with the new metal of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
But it was really good. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of pain. It was very COVID driven, and obviously after Devon died with Jonathan, it was fucking really. It hit home, and it really hit the mark. If you're a Korn fan, you will enjoy it. I think if you're sort of coming into it new, I don't think you're really going to like it. It sort of tips into that sort of gothic, more synthy.
So how would you compare it to their last album then?
Oh, the last album was so much better.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
The last album.
But you're sort of comparing that to when Head came back, Devon and Jar. I can't remember. I think Devon just died after that, so there was a lot of pent up rage. This one seems to be a bit more focused on the bullshit that's gone on in the world.
Okay.
I prefer Jonathan Davis when he's talking about his problems.
Mm-hmm.
In the weirdest way.
I think two underrated Korn albums is the Paradigm Shift. I absolutely love that one.
Yeah?
And the Path to Totality. Everyone hates it for the dubstep, but I fucking love it.
Man, that just really stepped them out the mark to say this is what new metal can do.
So what we're all agreeing on here is a band can do an album that's outside. It's quite outside of what they've done before, and it's still really good.
Yeah.
Everyone who was saying Load and Reload are not good Metallica albums for that fucking reason. Sorry.
We're still okay.
I'm always on my bullshit, man.
Hey, here I go now. Here I go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
did you like Saint Anger?
Saint Anger, if it had been made by any other band, if Saint Anger had been made by an up and coming band, they would have been hailed as being ahead of their years.
Oh,
it's not a, but the songs are not bad songs. It's yes, the production was horrendous. I'll completely cop to that. The songs themselves are not bad songs. Again, they're quite different. If you had an up-and-coming band release the exact same songs, even with that production, they would be hailed as being ahead of their years.
Okay. I'll agree. To some degree, I'll deal with that. But it's the first time I think Lars...
That's my thing on it. But, you know, it had its... Look, no Metallica album's perfect.
No, that's true. But no album is perfect.
No album is perfect. But I just think that, you know, it's just one of those things where all the other bands in the Big Four... We're getting back off track anyway, but yes.
I will
always come back to that. I will always fucking come back to that. God himself could come down from heaven and appear before me and say, Load, Reload, and Saint Anger were shit albums, and I would flip him off while I walked backwards into hell.
Oh, I'm gonna use this Saint Anger segue to go tick 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 tock tick tock tick 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 tock. You don't remember that song?
Yeah. All right. Well. Now that we've gone through all of that stuff, don't you be dissing Metallica. Exactly, June Sack Sally. Don't you fucking be no one should be dissing Metallica. Anyway,
I love Metallica. I do. Just
now that we've got the news and the reviews and all of that out of the way,
let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Let's get into the main reason that we are all here. Our guest today, Kid Crusher. So
I forgot I was here. I thought I was a spectator.
No, dude, no, because you have had a fucking career, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Man.
For those that don't know, right? Let's run down some of these things. This is just a taste, just a little sample.
That's notes of just him.
Little sample of what this man has done in his music career. So
and for the industry.
Started all the way back in 1996. So that's a long time, right? Been doing this shit for a long time.
On cassettes. Those little square
things. On cassettes and shit.
You used to have to put your pen in to rewind.
Yeah.
Just a quick before you move on, man. Like, I actually didn't have any recording equipment besides this boombox that had 2 tape decks and a mic built in front of the speakers. So I would have a piano in front of that had hip hop beat loops. So I would hit record, press like a beat thing, and I'll be rapping to this fucking little boombox when I was like fucking in my teens sometime.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
how old and weird it is.
Absolutely, got to start somewhere. Maybe you can like release some of that shit one day.
Do it.
I would love to find one of those cassettes I recorded on my car.
Well, maybe something will turn up
one day.
So, you formed a metal band called Rectal Birth in the early 2000s that did perform live, but didn't record anything at the time. As well as Subterra, which was a rap group. A couple of albums from that in the mid 2000s. First solo release for this man. So this is not even done his first solo release yet. This is done almost, this 10 years before he got to that first solo release, right? That one was a song called A Dirty Fucking Murder and self-made music video, which to date has gained over 335,000 views on YouTube. And, little side note, for those of you that may not know, was actually used in an episode of Law & Order, which utilized which used horrorcore music or horrorcore culture as one of the plot devices on there. And believe me, I'm going to ask you a fucking question about that when we get to it. Following that single, there was an album called Tormented Mutilation in 2006. Now, all up from that first full album through to this one, the most recent stuff, KC has released 13 albums or mixtapes as Kid Crusher, while also releasing multiple albums for other projects, Rectal Birth, Caveman, and producing other artists and working on film scoring for Sheborg Massacre, running a podcast, The Drain, as well as cameos in various film and TV projects. On top of all of that, this man has toured. He's opened shows with Tech Nine, Insane Clown Posse, Exhibit, Head PE, Jeffrey Nothing, Dirt Nasty, Boondocks, Blaze Your Dead Homie, and The Berserker. He's collaborated with ICP's record label Psychopathic Records for their Tunnel Runners compilation, which featured a bunch of independent horrorcore artists, and debuted on the Billboard rap charts at number 21.
Fuck yeah.
Most recent album was Distorted Dimension in 2018, which is fucking dope. You absolutely need to get yourself on that shit. And currently working on a new album, Metal Murder 4K, which is a follow-up to your very, very popular Metal Murder mixtape series of albums. Thank you so much again for coming on.
What a fucking...
How does it feel? How does it feel having all of that shit read out like that and knowing that that's probably not even everything? Like, I've guaranteed I've left some shit out.
Yeah, I think
Like-
you were like huffing and puffing from trying to get.
I was trying to get all through, man. There's so much stuff to read through, brother. Like,
That's
how
fucking
does it feel
unreal.
just thinking about all that shit, man?
I always get asked in interviews like, it seems like a lot of work that I'm doing, and because to me it's not work. I love being on my computer. I'm a computer nerd. I grew up on my computer, even when it was MS DOS. I was on a computer, and I'm a complete computer nerd. I do everything, like I said, it's just fun. So like I'm just constantly working on there, and when I think I'm done with an album and like I'm exhausted from making an album because it took like a couple of years, and I usually am excited to not work on an album. 2 weeks will go by max, and I'm like, I need to work on another album. It's just like this drug. I need it going through my system constantly. I need to be thinking about it. But the thing is, right now I can barely sleep because I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm doing Murder 4K. So yeah, it's more than I could ever have imagined that I've accomplished. And believe me, I think I've hit all the ticks in the boxes that I wanted to. Especially when I first started working on KIDCRUSHER in 2005 was to work with ICP, and I've done it. So it's like the only other thing I've got on my checkbook list is to hit the Gathering. I'm not like holding my breath for that one, but it's like potentially. Otherwise, all I can say is the reason why I've got so far is a secret. Being positive. Be positive, you can fucking do it. That's what I did. I said I was gonna fucking do it. And it all comes down to the fact that those bands that I was starting with in groups, and they all fell apart, and that's what really angered me. Like no one really was as motivated as me in Rectal Birth and Subterra, and I was really frustrated to put all this time and energy into it, and I had to just keep dragging everyone along with me, and then they would either drop off. So then when I first started KIDCRUSHER, I'm like, fuck it, I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna go get it, and I'm still doing it. Still doing it today.
Very interesting you say that. One thing that I've noticed with a couple of the musicians that I've spoken to doing this and the Beer Buddy stuff is that you meet two kinds of musicians. You meet the ones that go, I love doing this, yeah, I'm going to muck around and do this, but then you meet the other ones that go, no, this is my job.
Mm-hmm. I'm a bit of both, I would say, though. Like you
said, it's not work for you because you love doing what you're doing. But
yeah,
it sounds to me like you have said, no, there is no other option. I'm doing music.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it works in both ways because I still see the business side of it. I manage myself. I organize shows. I run websites, merchandising, all of that. So there is a work side of it to me, especially when I am working on music. Prior to say it's different now than when I was working on music 2005, 2006. I didn't really care too much about what I was doing. I was doing it for fun. And yeah, I'm still doing it for fun. So it's like whatever, but I still think twice about what I'm doing. I'm doing it for other people as well, so I'm thinking about them all the time. So I'm producing a product for someone, so it feels like work, even though they are buying it from me and they're not really paying me to do it in advance. I still feel like I'm working for them, for my fans.
That's a really humble outlook to take, and the consistency that you've held over the last 2005 up till now, what are we talking, 18 years?
Yes, sir. Almost hitting that 20 mark.
Yeah, dude, it's an adult.
I mean, as long as the fans are still with me and they're motivating me to do it, I'm happy to, and I'm having, and when I'm getting sick of it, so to say, I don't think I'd ever quit. I just like taking those breaks, and like I say, I can't break from the music for 2 weeks, so I ventured off the Caveman for a couple of years, and now KIDCRUSHER's clawing at me to come back.
And look. And I got to say, man, having done some shows with you, like I have, for those who, if you've seen KIDCRUSHER, you may or may not be aware that, he's got this character, Bub Zombies, a zombie DJ, does a lot of stuff on stage for the shows. If you've seen a show from KIDCRUSHER in the last several years, there's a pretty good chance that I was the zombie DJ for those ones. It's a lot of fun working with this man. And I tell you what, the dedication and the humbleness with which this man greets his fans is astounding. Like I can remember we did the ICP show in 2013, and we were leaving to head back to your hotel, and walking down to where the car was, like fans stopping, just like, hey man, like thank you so much, that was awesome. A big fan, wanted to talk to you, wanted to get photos and everything, and you made the time for all of them because that's what it's important. You know that the fans are what matters the most, and it's true. Like because without the fans, what if you just gonna? I mean, yeah, like you say, you do a lot of this stuff. You make this music for yourself first and foremost, but without the fans, these achievements that you've got there, a lot of them don't happen, and you very much recognize that. And you got a lot of love for those fans. So, but you're also very
100%.
humble about it, which.
And they're like family, man. And to have something like that is so special to me. Like I never understood how I would. Like I didn't even think I would get fans. Like I said, I was my own biggest fan, making music for me. To have something more than that is mind blowing to me. And I like some of the messages I get from fans is just so heart to heart. Sometimes I get confused because my music is so negative half the time and brutal. And for people to tell me that it makes them feel better about life or shit like that, just positive outlooks. I'd never understood why, but I start to get it. It's like when you're angry, you punch shit and then you start to feel better. Not punch people, just punch a wall or something.
Punch shit,
Escape from music.
Yeah,
and,
or like get in the studio and scream into a microphone, right? Like,
yeah,
that
exactly.
shit helps.
Well, I used to be a wrestler, so like wrestling was my or what do you call my vent for anger back then. I like breaking glass and stuff like that. Now, yeah, screaming on the mic does it very well.
Because that's the one thing that spun me out. It's like horrorcore. What drew you towards that niche market? Oh, like in 2005, like when I'm looking at it, 2005, it was sort of like Rob Zombie and like, yeah, horror was a really sort of big thing. But what drew you toward, like, especially, like, if you haven't listened to this guy can spit fucking rhymes. This guy is legit. This guy knows what the fuck he's doing. What drew you towards the whole concept of horrorcore? Because I love it. I love the look. I love the yeah.
As you should be able to see, I'm a bit of a movie buff, so like horror was like a big thing of being when I was younger. I was kind of scared of it to begin with, like freaking this movie called The Gate scared the living shit out of me when I was a kid. I could barely fucking finish it. So like my first love is movies. I'll tell you that right now. Music is second to me. Movies is my fucking obsession, and if Blockbuster didn't shut down, I'd still be working there or trying to work at a cinema. Like my first job was working at Blockbuster, and like, that was my goal too. I remember in freaking grade 3 or 4, I'm like, when I grow up, I'm gonna work at Blockbuster. Like, is that all you're gonna do? And then look, when I fucking got out of school, I was working at Blockbuster. See, I'm a man with a mission. I gotta focus on. I'm gonna get it. You put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Anyway,
you live in proof, brother.
So, yeah, horror movies kind of. It's just like, yeah, I love soundtracks. I said that before we went on. Like, freaking, that's kind of where my love for music kind of started, was soundtracks, and scooped up this soundtrack from a movie called Tales from the Hood. It's a very underrated kind of movie, not well known, but the soundtrack was it's just horror rap, and it possessed me straight away. And not long after, I found ICP, and it was like I was digging for that sound all along before I found it, because I had this idea that people, rap musicians like Wu-Tang and Tupac back in my time were really popular. I had this vision that they were going to be, that aggressive, horror, dark music, and I was forbidden to listen to it. My mom was really like secure on what I was allowed to listen to back then. Now you can just get on the internet and listen. At my day, you had to get the CD, so it was really hard for me to find that. But once I listened to Tupac and all that, while there are good musicians, it wasn't what I was craving. I didn't even know it existed until I found that Tales from the Hood sound. And I guess my draw to it, also not because of movies, was because I don't like people much. I really don't.
We suck.
I fucking hate public. Like, I like fans and stuff and people on the same level. Like, there's people, if you respect me, I respect you, that's cool. But 99% time out there in the public, I fucking hate people. It's like Slipknot. People equal shit. I praise them for that. That's the best quote in the fucking world, I think. Like, the majority of people are shit. So I was really drawn to that darker thing because I hate the way people treat people, especially when they treat them evilly, and make people feel depressed. Because I grew up in a really, really like torturous kind of zone, being bullied and etc. Same fucking story a lot of people have. I grew up without a dad as well. He died when I was like 6 months old. So
I'm
like I was
sorry.
really it's good. He died when I was that young that I don't even know what it feels like to have a dad. So it's kind of hard to get sad about it. It's even hard to explain that to someone. They're like, you're glad you don't have a dad because dad's a shit. I'm like, I'd like to know how that feels, but what I mean by that is I didn't have much guidance in the world, so I fucked up a lot. I still fuck up a lot because I grew up with my mom and a couple of siblings. But just getting thrown in the deep end in the world, and they ate me alive, and I still feel like they still do in a way. So it's like, not that I want to retaliate any way to this world. It's just the music makes me feel good about saying fuck you to everyone. I just like that middle finger to everyone.
Yeah.
So that's why I think
so much respect, man, because the way you sort of like listen, when you look at the cycle, the way you go through it, the way the presentation to the whole thing, it's on another level. You set apart yourself to everyone else as far as Australian music goes. Was it sort of, how did it come about where you sort of broke through?
Man,
Do you know what I mean?
You mean to an audience?
Well, I mean, like when you look at it, you open for you've done stuff with ICP, you've opened for Exhibit, you've opened for Tech Nine. Where was that recognition? At what point through your album cycle through 2005 up until say the first opening tour that you did? Where was that recognition into this?
How I gained recognition. Sarah said something before that Tormented Mutation was my first album by KIDCRUSHER. It was actually called Light to Dark and Life to Death in 2005, which I recorded. In 2006, I ended up renting a studio, which I found was local to me. And I just watched this guy like a hawk when he was working. Because like I said, I'm a computer crazy nerd. I just watched him and I'm like, how does he do this? I spent like, I just watched what equipment he needed and everything, and so I recorded that album with him, and then I've been recording myself ever since. I bought my own stuff and been just working at home.
It's fucking insane.
And I think my recognition kind of started because, like, being an Australian artist at the bottom of the freaking world, South Australia, let alone.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck. So, also, like I said, like, if it was up to me when I first started, I was all about just making music and music videos. I wasn't set on touring at all. I'm not even really felt I was capable of doing it at the time. So like I just hammered down. I made music videos. The first music video I did, A Dirty Fucking Murder, was shot in my backyard. I had no facilities at all, no great camera crew or anything like that, and it blew up on the internet because people were laughing at it, and that's fine, like. It did kind of suck. It was kind of dull, but I had a positive drive of where I was going, and to see the amount of views that I had from just people not liking it influenced me like a motherfucker. It made me hungrier to do better. I'm like, do you think that's better? Let me show you something better. I'll find you something better, right? I wasn't just like, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to up the ante then. You want a better video? I'll give you a better video. And I kept going on. And I think the real kick where I got everyone's attention was a music video I did called Meet the Monsters. I actually pitched this single to this guy who was making a movie in Melbourne about zombies, and I'm like, do you need music for this movie? Can I please do a song for the movie? And he's like, send me the song, and if I like it, I'll fly over here and we'll do a video for it on the set of the movie. Within a week, I recorded and pitched it to him, and I was on a plane the next month to this mental asylum, and it was freaking massive. The production was fucking huge. We had Fangoria magazine there interviewing me. At that time, I just knew shit was popping from then. I'm like, I haven't even seen what this video looks like, and I know it's going to be fucking massive. And I had my own assistant. I'm like, here I am, this guy going from shooting a video in my backyard to having an assistant. I'm like, something's working. I don't know. That's when I started to just kind of wire right. I'm like, so much was good. So much was going into that production. Put it online, and I was starting to gain attention to the Juggalo world, which I was already trying to do in 2005. But once I had that production value music video, pretty sure that came out in 2007, 2008. Psychopathic Records were inboxing me to be on Tunnel Runners. So after I'm on Tunnel Runners, it blew the fuck up.
Dude, that gives me goosebumps just talking about it. Like, seriously, dude, that's fucking I ain't never heard no shit like that before.
Yeah.
I've been doing this year. I've been doing this, dude. You're just the epitome of what's that quote? You know how
Hold my poodle.
Well, not just that. In video games, if you're creating the bad guy, you're going in the right direction.
Boom,
Yeah.
headshot. See me dancing, boom.
Like, as soon as the haters started getting on it, you just went, nah, fuck you, I'm going hard.
Like I said, I already hated everyone, so for everyone to hate on me more,
It means you're going in the right direction. Fuck. And then Law and Order. How'd that come about?
I got hit up from MySpace from them actually.
Well, we're going back now, fuck.
Yeah.
Don't show your age too hard, but...
Yeah, no, I gained a lot of big following from them, so I got a lot of love for MySpace. Especially, I still got fans today who say they're fans of me from MySpace, and that blows my mind. Just fucking hits me in the feels.
You over 30s crowd, you rock.
Yeah, it's actually a bit deeper, I guess, why they hit me up, because they said the episode was based primarily on horrorcore music and a horrorcore festival, but they kept it really short. That was it. But a real life event happened before that happened. Before they messaged me, where a fan of mine, a fan of a lot of other horrorcore music in Farmville in America, a guy named Richard McCroskey. He was a fan of mine. He did artwork for me, did my website for me for a little bit. We were friends online, chatting and stuff. I know him as Little Demon Dog. Everyone knew him as Psycho Sam. He killed 4 people, I believe, right after going to a horrorcore concert. He was also inspiring horrorcore artist. When the police went there, they filmed documentaries. He's got, pictures of me on his wall and stuff like that. So I think that's where Law and Order took that influence.
Oh, that's a bit fucked.
So what Law and Order said was I kind of had an idea that it was going to be based on that. But at the same time, they said it was just going to be me at a festival, and a couple of people have gone to a festival, and I'm going to be the act they see at the festival. Although Sam didn't really see me at that festival in real life. He went to some other horrorcore festival. So yeah, they just kind of kept the brief. They said they're going to show a quick video of me, and they based the whole episode on him, and I'm briefly in there for like 15 seconds. So there's my 15 seconds of fame. Literally my 15 seconds of fame.
Fuck. That's some heavy shit. That's some heavy shit.
15 seconds of fame as an actor, not a musician.
No.
But yeah, the Sam story is really fucked. It's surreal to me because it's someone I used to talk to, and
we work for you.
Kinda, yeah. Like he didn't get paid or anything, but like he did it because he was a fan of mine, So it just still doesn't feel real. It really upset a lot of people. I mean, I'm not at all condoning what he did. It was absolute shit, Like while I do write crazy music, I do it as an outlet.
It's a satire.
I would actually do that.
It's a fucking satire thing. Like you could base it off the whole concept of Eminem. He didn't fucking kill his wife with his daughter next to him. Like, come on, come on.
Exactly, and that's kind of why I wanted to. That's why I mentioned I wanted to come back to that Law and Order episode and ask about that because I know.
Sorry, man, I cut you out on that. Sorry, dude.
No. That's fine, dude. That's fine. Like that's why I mentioned it though because I know there's all that that a lot of the deeper story behind it. But I'll be honest, like some of those details I am only just hearing for the first time. So.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the time I've known you, because I know it's not something that like you and I have ever really talked about directly before, but yeah, so it's pretty crazy because I actually went back and watched that episode. Like I hunted that episode down in the lead up to this, and I'm like, and when you're telling me those details, saying those details just now, I'm like, that's the episode. Like that's the
Goosebumps, man. Yeah,
that's the story of the episode. Like they just
dude,
fucking
like-
they just went. That's the thing. Like
they
Worst part-
over dramatized a lot of the plots, but like that's what Law and Order does,
Yeah.
so to say. And it's a scar I have with me. Like this kid, I'm gonna remember him forever because like not only are we a part of, you know, Law and Order is a big thing. Like this tragedy is fucked. You know, it really is. It's like like I say, I am an angry kind of depressed dude, and I seem very dark and morbid all the time. But like, this is my avatar. And me in real life, I'm Mr. Bean. You know, like I'm obsessed with British comedy. I'm laughing all the fucking time. I'm a goofball. I'm more like Jim Carrey. Like I do not condone murder at all. Out of all things, like I can't even stand watching horror lately. Like and I'll tell you why. There's not only for the real shit that happens in the world. That, like I don't like seeing people being tortured. Like I like flipping people off and screaming at them. But Eli Roth made a few movies like Hostel. Like while they were cool at the time, he made another one called The Green Inferno. Watching that film single-handedly made me stop watching torture, killer, horror films. It was just, it made me feel bad. Like I'll give you an example why. There's a guy in it who's like the most nicest guy in the freaking world. He's like helping people out. He's like the nicest guy out of the whole cast, his character anyway. And he gets absolutely tortured in the worst way I've ever seen in my life, and I just exited out of the horror movie thing.
I think what done it for me was that, what's it called, the Hillbilly Holocaust? You ever heard of that? No, don't. Just don't. Just don't. You watch it. I actually watch it. I watch the thing on fast forward. It's fucking terrible.
And I guess sorry to cut you off there, KC, okay. But I mean that's kind of part of it. Like I know you've got, you know, some of your songs touch on like the topics of, you know, things like addiction, things like, you know, like the fact of, you know, we can express ourselves. You know, horror movies can exist and people can express themselves through like a horror movie. But if you're doing the musical equivalent, then that's often looked at as being very negative and being like a bad thing. And realistically, it's another way of, I think, people have for coping with a lot of these dark emotions, right? And I mean, as fans of metal, like that's something that we deal with a lot. And there's a question of, you know, there's a lot of people that listen to heavy metal music, you know, suffer from depression or other various, you know, mental illnesses. And then there's a question of, okay, well, people might look at that and go, well, okay, the heavy metal's causing it, but it's not that. It's the complete reverse. It's people are drawn to this music that's a safe way of dealing with these negative emotions. And I think, you know, not that I have a lot of love for Phil Anselmo, but Phil Anselmo said something on a thing very, very long time ago about heavy metal being controlled violence in a violent world. And that's always stuck with me as it's a way of processing a lot of these negative and, you know, violent emotions or these, you know, sad emotions that we can have, that allows us to just feel them and vent them and get them out in a safe way, rather than just having to sort of sit on them and have them bottle up and you know, to the point where they become a problem. You know, so it's, I completely understand where you're coming from. And look, I think this is as good a time as any to say, look, you know, if you're struggling, please get help. Please reach out to somebody. You know, family, friends, professionals in the support industry. Like, these people want to help you and they want to ensure that you're being the best that you can be and helping you to deal with some of these things. So if you are struggling, absolutely reach out.
Yeah, man.
Because that's all there, and you know, it's
shouldn't be frowned upon, man. Mental health is nothing that should be frowned upon. You know, if you're ever worried about your mental health, go for a run. Because you realise how bad your physical health is. And then you won't worry about your mental health. No. But in all seriousness, there are so many outlets out there, whether just call someone, talk to a family member. Like, someone will understand. You are not going through this alone. If music states anything, is that you're not going through this alone.
Yeah.
Someone else knows exactly what you're feeling like. Just talk to someone. Don't do anything stupid.
So let's bring this back onto the track here. So we've talked about a lot of stuff that you have done in the past, stuff you've built yourself, you've come up through your early days. Tell us a little bit more about
I can feel a cycle
Metal
coming
Murder,
on.
Metal Murder 4K.
Feel a cycle.
Well,
What can you tell us about it?
I've been waiting for someone to ask me about it. I've been like, I don't know if you've seen the last few days on Instagram and all that. I've just been talking about the last ones, hyping it up. I'm like, shit,
I have
I'm
noticed that. I'm like, what's this guy got coming?
I'm like, this is probably too early to hype it, but I'm gonna ride this hype train all the way to the end of the year, because like the only reason I can't put the album out any sooner is because that's the only time when I can shoot music videos is in Christmas holidays. So this album isn't coming out to January. Otherwise it would be sooner. But the album, the beats are all done, which is great, and I've been listening to them, and they're blowing my head off. Like, it's crazy how this album has evolved, because originally it wasn't even meant to be called Metal Murder 4, and I've been telling everyone for years since Metal Murder 3D came out, because as soon as it came out, they're like, when's the fourth one coming? I'm like, I hate the name Metal Murder 4. It just sounds ridiculous. It doesn't ring a bell. Like Metal Murder 1, Metal Murder 2, and 3D sound awesome. Just 4 to me just sounded shit. And my friend turned to me and says, "But what about you call it 4K?" I was like, "That's actually pretty good."
That is a really good idea.
Yeah, it's in line with the trend,
With
right?
three-
Like Metal Murder 3D, you had the
Okay.
the 3D glasses and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. So it
And
does make
4K is a
sense.
trend. Yeah, 4K
Yeah.
is a trend these days. And yeah, shout out to my homie Bane for that idea. Yeah, so originally, like I said, I was already working on this album after Distorted Dimension back in 2018, and I had a bunch of beats, and I had a different working title for this album, and this working title's only just been changed, I think, the start of this year. I can't remember the exact pinpoint, but the thing is, I kind of felt that this album was going to be Metal Murder, because I seen similarities of it when I was like putting it together on my playlist. I'm like, this actually kind of feels like one. And the last few weeks have been so fucking interesting. Like, I've just like had this positive drive, because I've just got out of the Caveman zone. I've been working on the Caveman album Evolution in 2020 and 2021, those 2 years, and I've been doing gigs with them this year. So it's been a lot of Caveman activity going in my musical career. So like, I had this big break. I was more procrastinating on KIDCRUSHER for a while, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet. And to just get freaking clawed back to it lately in the last few weeks, just all these new beats have been like deleting other tracks that I've been holding on to since 2018. Like the first half of the album got changed in the last 2 weeks, and I'm listening to it getting goosebumps. Like, is this really me? Is this what I'm doing? This sounds like, where I've been trying to get on the ladder of productivity. I mean, I was doing sound engineering classes and everything just so I could get guitars to sound that good. If you thought Evolution sounded good, this is out of this fucking world.
Man,
so yes.
that gets me really excited. I gotta say, the fact that you're sitting there going, this gives me goosebumps. How good it is. I'm like, if you're saying that, because like you and I have had a lot of chats, man, over the years about this stuff and
Yeah.
about your, like wanting to. I know you always try and stay humble about your stuff, and you got a lot of like, oh, is it gonna be, Is it going to be where I want it to be? Is it going to be up to the standard? If you're that excited about it, that makes me excited about it from not only as your friend, but also as a fan. Because if it's that good that it's giving you goosebumps, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so hyped for this.
Insane.
So
I do got to apologize to some fans, because like when I did Distort Dimension, it was very metal, and there the production was still really good there. The producer of that album has done a couple of songs for this album as well. And they told fans were saying like, I love Distort Dimension, but can you do more rap songs? I'm like, okay, I'll do an album after this one that's just rap songs. And that what this album started as. And now that first half of the album is the second half of the album. So the first half of the album is all metal. So it's almost a metal album, but there's rap over it as well. But it is as like the Metal Murder mixtape series goes, varies in genre. However, the first half's just metal.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Well, I mean, look, man, we know you're a big
You're
new
a
metal
metalhead,
fan
man.
from back in the day. Like you love all that shit. Have you got? I mean, you don't have to tell us who, but have you got any sort of got any features lined up for this one? Is it going to be very similar to Distorted Dimension in that it's mainly just you, or are you sort of branching out a little bit again with some of the features on that?
You see, I'm on the edge with this. I recently made an announcement. I don't know how many people seen that announcement. That like it's bugging me as an OCD kind of thing that I have never in my entire career. Yeah, I was just thinking about Caveman then, but no, that the entire fucking career released a Kid Crusher album with no featuring artists on it. And I was thinking about Slipknot. When you put in a Slipknot CD, who do you hear? Corey fucking Taylor, top to bottom. Nobody else in there. Korn, Jonathan Davis, top to bottom. My albums usually have like can't get through 3 songs without a featuring artist on. This is my OCD screaming at me that I got to do an album with nobody on it but me. So you're gonna be hearing a lot of me on this album.
Awesome.
A fan said this to me actually when they listened to Metal Murder 2. I think it was my friend Socks from Sydney. He said, I really like, Socksbox, man. I did a lot of shows with him. He said to me, I really love Metal Murder 2, but there's not a lot of you on there. There's like one verse of me and I'm on the hook, and then there's other people, and it really stuck with me. I'm like, okay, but then I ignored it for a while, and then like it just kind of flung back to me again. But then I'm thinking again, like I was saying with the tracks earlier, how should I split it into 2 albums because there's so much, but it's not the Metal Murder way to have 10 tracks. Like it's also not the Metal Murder way to not have featuring artists on here. So I was like,
okay,
I'm on the edge about it. I'm still.
Well, what if you did like 2 discs? Just like obviously being long enough, it's a 2-disc thing, and you can go like one disc is, like I don't know, just
you could
ideas.
You could appease the Spotify gods and.
You don't have to release it as 2 albums, like just 2 discs for the physical copy, and 1 disc is like the
the metal
this is
side.
all like this is the metal side, and the other disc is the other side of it, Yeah. But
I would have to delay it another year to do a double.
Don't
get
it done.
20 tracks.
Don't just scratch that idea then. But look, I'm really keen. Whatever way you go with it, man, I know it's going to be fucking amazing. Because look, Distorted Dimension had, there was still a couple of features on there, I believe, but I know a lot of it was still you. Like there was
that was my idea then too. I was trying not to have anybody on that album.
Yeah,
still leaked onto it. And that I'm still fine with that because those songs turn out great.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm super excited, man. Like as I said, and anytime you're gonna be up my way, you're gonna be up in Brisbane, like you can.
Man, anytime you're in Sydney,
want to jump on some stuff. Anytime in Sydney, I'm sure Kyle will be coming out to some of your shows there now for sure. Have you got any plans for any more shows later this year, or are you waiting till next year, or?
Because I know you don't like it, or not that you don't like it. You prefer to do the more in-house stuff.
I haven't done a KIDCRUSHER show in about 2 years, I think. I think I did one last year just for a friend because one of our local bars was like going out of business because of COVID. It was like a fundraising gig, so I did a KIDCRUSHER for that. And other gigs that have been getting thrown at me just this year and last year, I actually pitched him Caveman instead just to help promote that project. The album just came out. At the moment, like I'm just focusing on the album. No other offers have really come because, like I said, I'm more up for being a local act and organizing my own shows. And I haven't toured since COVID either. Like I've been staying local. So now I'm only just now open to touring. I'm hoping I can start touring towards the end of the year. But like I said, nothing's planned yet. I'm keeping everything open and availability open. I'm starting the hype train, so whatever happens. America-wise, I can't touch base on. I still don't know what's going on with that. It's still a possibility.
So just for Kyle, who isn't may not be across all of that situation there, just give like the brief rundown of what happened there and why America is sort of such a challenge for you.
Well, I was meant to perform in 2008 for ICP's festival, The Gathering. I kind of got asked at the last minute, right after I did the Tunnel Runners record. I basically bought a ticket and then got a friend, and I think we had like a month or 2 to prepare. I was I'm gonna say like 20. Like I started KIDCRUSHER when I was really like 17, I think. So I would have been about 20 at the time. And yeah, I didn't know. I'd never left Australia. I barely traveled around Australia at this point, so I didn't know jack shit about international touring. Didn't have management at this time either, obviously. So yeah, we just flew over there, and when we were landing, they gave us some slips about, have you been arrested? I'm like, no, I hadn't. But they still pulled me aside in the airport and questioned me about anything bad I ever done in my entire life. They like went through my bags and everything, and because I had been fined for like, it was a $200 fine for marijuana.
So you got a cannabis caution.
Yeah, it was, but I hadn't been arrested for it.
No,
And
that's
like,
what a cannabis caution is. It's just like, okay, you got busted with weed. Bad boy.
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah,
one of
so-
those.
Yeah, so it was the smallest amount of weed too, so it's like nothing. And they're like, "What? No, you would have got arrested for it." No, I didn't. They're like, "No, well, you should have put that you've been arrested on this form."
But you didn't. You haven't been charged.
Like, it doesn't say that here. It says, "Have you ever been arrested for it?" And they're like, "Well, you have to write that yes." And I'm like, "But I hadn't." They're like, "Well, if you want to come in here, you have to write yes and give us more information." So I had to click yes. I thought I was going in, and they're like, "Yeah, you're going home." Shit. So I flew all the way to America. And as I got there, it took like 14 or 18 hours. I can't remember because we had a changeover. They deported us to Europe. And then deported us to Melbourne without a ticket to Adelaide. So we had to buy our own ticket home from Adelaide from there. And then they slapped. I tried to come back the following year. I went to the embassy to get a proper visa for it because I thought I'd be safe. So yeah, the following year I found out that I have a 5-year ban from 2008 from even attempting to enter. 5 years passed, and I found out that I am not allowed in as so I can't just buy a plane ticket and go. I'm permanently banned as a visitor. I can only go in as a if I have a contract to be over there to tour. So I tried setting up a contract to tour and everything. I've invested thousands of dollars into getting it, and we've had fundraisers. There's been like over 20 grand put into this. That is
You
just,
can't make this shit up.
it's fucking set fire to a lot of money. But so as long as I got a contract to go over there to sign, I've already got the visa paid for. It's there. It's sitting with lawyers ready to go. I just need someone to sign off for me to go over there and perform. And to be paid, I have to be paid according to it. So there's a lot of legal.
So basically, you need to go over there on a working visa.
Yeah, it's a musician's visa.
Like, yeah. So basically, you need to. Oh my! They sell guns to fucking 18-year-olds that shoot up schools.
Yeah, it really depressed me. It really freaking depressed me.
Lucky the Second Amendment fucking works.
Well,
fuck.
While we got you going, while we got you on a ranting mood,
Are we gonna?
I think it's time. I think it's time, Carl.
Are we gonna do the rant or the fuck off files? What are we gonna do?
Well, we'll do fuck off files.
Fucking
we'll do
oath.
fuck off files, I think.
All right, let's do it. Fuck off files.
Fuck off files.
So, for those of you who may not have seen us last week, last fortnight, whenever we did it, I don't know. Those who may be watching for the first time on YouTube and all of that business, the fuck off files. Basically, what we do is we ask our very esteemed guest, what three things, if you could just snap your fingers and make them disappear out of the music industry, what three things from any aspect of the music industry would you fuck off if you could?
No, can't click.
Yeah, you nailed that first one. Yeah, Thanos that.
Spotify.
Ooh,
Hey.
digress.
So
Tell more.
Spotify specifically, or just music streaming in general?
Music streaming.
Yeah.
I think you
Take
want to.
that one back.
I think you want to fuck off that 0.5 cent revenue cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working visas.
Working visas for
There's number 2.
Yep.
Well, for
Absolutely.
musicians anyway. I don't know. Fucking help everyone out in the progress and fuck all working visas out. You're already making enough money off us, I guess. Free for musicians.
Come on, there's got to be something that you just like. I'm done with this shit.
hate mail.
Hate mail. All right. All right.
Indirect.
Do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of that kind of stuff?
Surprisingly, not much as I used to, but like hate mail in general is pretty shit. Like trolling in general. Some messages I get are people I can tell haven't even been on my profile for more than 5 seconds. It's like,
Yeah.
right, okay, good on you. I laugh
Yeah.
a majority of it.
Yeah.
Like I say,
Like,
used to
because I do imagine like getting, doing horrorcore music, getting, having the look that you have. I think a lot of people just look at it and they just go, "Oh, you're just copying ICP. You're just trying to be ICP. You're just trying to do that."
Yeah.
It's like, well,
yeah, that and shitty rumors that come out by people as well.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like there's a lot of people that just don't like me in general, just because they don't even listen to my music, so they just spread shit.
I don't like the
in
look
my
here.
story.
I'm a boomer.
I
I
don't
don't like the
like
look
that guy.
here.
Don't fuck with him. I heard some shit about him. What'd you hear? You know me.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, well, I mean that makes perfect sense. All of that stuff. I mean, we were talking earlier about all of the bullshit that's Spotify and music streaming companies do, and how much they make record profits while refusing to pay anything extra to the artists that are the reason that they do that. They're able to make anything of that money. They're not even a company that's creating a product. They're just
Giving you a platform.
someone else's. They're giving access to somebody else's product, and the prices that they charge for it are absolutely, the amount of
Ridiculous.
I
cut
think
they
it's
take is stupid.
it is beneficial and convenient, Spotify, to have all your music in your pocket. I do like it. I just wish they paid more for it. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even, like you say, sign off to be on Spotify. Like, that's how it just kind of slipped in. I didn't even know my music was there.
Yeah,
It
someone
came
else put
straight-
it up there for you.
Yeah, well, my distributor did, but I didn't know about it. That was when it was making its first income. However, I do like streaming movies. I do kind of like that. Apple TV. I still buy my movies though.
Yeah.
I buy my digital movies, so I have all my favorite movies in my pocket, watch on my phone at night all the time. Because Netflix never keeps your favorite movie on there for long. So Apple TV, buy that shit. It's even in 4K, so you can put it on the PS5 4K your movie. I do appreciate that, but I do appreciate cinemas. So likewise, it's like going to see a band live. It's like going to see a movie live is going to the cinema. Like, rather than listening to the band on CD, which is streaming your movie at home. Get the full experience and go to the fucking cinema. I bet a lot of people haven't been to the cinema in a long fucking time. Go.
Yeah,
Man,
absolutely.
I've got to say, I went and saw I went and took the wife to see the last James Bond movie
Oh yeah.
at the cinema. Fuck, man. The whole experience was just like, man, it was so good. Like the sound, everything is just like, yeah, you get the full. Yeah, 4K's bad when you get it done, but when you got it on that big fucking screen and you get to absorb the whole thing, the room's dark, the sound's perfect, it's just, hits different.
Yeah, Wallace Cinema here has got this thing called Quake Sound, and the chairs literally vibrate.
That's fucking
insane.
cool. It's almost
I like that.
like 5D. All they need is just to put the smells in there and you fucking...
Fuck
That's
that shit.
impressive,
I ain't gonna
man.
Get wet.
That's
but
impressive.
no, like, yeah, I like to feel like invest that I'm really in that fucking movie.
They're just the cinema just up here. They closed. It's getting a new one going in there. Maybe they'll have some shit like that. We'll have to see.
hope so.
Fingers crossed there. So, well, yeah, all right.
So what were
thank
the
you very,
three?
very
That
much
was
for
the
that.
Spotify shitty fucking revenue pay.
Yep.
Hate mail. And what was the other one?
Yep. Working visas.
Working fucking
Working
visas.
visas.
Shitty,
Yeah.
shitty American working visas. All them.
Yes, sir.
Fucking gone.
Fuck them
mate.
off. They're gone, mate.
And they're gone.
Thanos that
All
shit.
right. Well, we're on a roll now. We're on a real roll now. You're itching to talk about it, aren't you, Kyle? You're ready to.
I've actually,
itching.
like, dude. So,
All right. Well, let's get on to the next portion of the show. This is the official rant section of the show.
it's rant time.
Rant time.
All right, guys. So I messaged Raph about this week, and I'm like, dude, we got to talk about this. You heard the Drake story, Casey?
Drake, the musician?
Yeah, man.
Not that I recall.
All
Possibly.
right. So Drake is known to be a little bit paranoid about women, about what women get up to. You know, like especially being a big high class rapper, what Drake is, he knows he's a bit of a target.
Okay.
So Drake had a little bit of a fling with an Instagram model. We're not going to name names or anyone, but he had a little bit of a fling with an Instagram model. And Drake, being the smart individual that he is, wasn't a fool and rapped his tool. Now, when Drake had finished the deed with said Instagram model, he went into the bathroom and, disrobed after he'd worn a condom and said, "No, I'm going to pour Tabasco sauce in this bad boy." And poured Tabasco sauce in the end of into the condom, tied it off, threw it in the bin. Alright? Now, said Instagram model has come into the bathroom afterwards, gone, there's that used condom in the bin. Fucking grabbed it out and attempted to pour said finishing substance in the condom into herself to impregnate herself. Now, because Drake had poured Tabasco sauce into the condom, she's burnt herself quite badly and done some damage. This Instagram model is now trying to sue Drake for damages.
Wow. My rant is I can't really stand how every celebrity or musician now is the centerfold of drama entertainment, like the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing. Like it's freaking cancel culture, etc. That type of shit. I can't stand how the world works right now.
Yeah, my big issue with the whole thing is that these certain women are setting the whole movement back by lying and doing these stupid things.
Not all of them. It's just Amber's set a really bad image.
It's like all things, there's unfortunately there's some women out there that are doing these horrible things. Like I was very nearly a number of years ago on the receiving end of false allegations being made about stalking and abuse. Thankfully, she didn't make those allegations public, but it was at the point where I was calling my local police station going like, look, this girl's saying this kind of stuff. What is,
what do I do?
What do I do? How can I protect myself, Because the thing is, allegations like that, I understand and I fully accept that believing victims is important. And if someone comes out and says, I was abused by this person, that it is very important that we support them and we treat those allegations extremely seriously. And the thing is, because of that, false allegations are very damaging and they can stick, even if found not guilty. So there's all sorts of craziness that happens around these things. And in the instance of this Drake situation that you mentioned, Kyle, like,
what would happen if she got pregnant?
That woman, absolutely. So I fully agree. Like, I seriously hope, and I don't know if the case has happened yet or what the deal is. I hope that it gets thrown out. I hope that the judge, I hope that the judge looks at it and laughs in her face and says, "Are you fucking dreaming?" Because that's self-inflicted as far as I'm concerned.
Mate, that's stealing. You can't fucking take people's spooge out of fucking trash.
But yeah, and look, just as there's people, just as there's some women out there that want to act this way, there's obviously, there's also guys out there that want to act like fucking assholes and do all sorts of skeevy shit.
There are guys out there with their whole concept is to impregnate as many women as they can, and they're just as fucking bad.
Yeah. So it's I think that what's very important is that we all make efforts to call out this sort of behavior, regardless of, it's easy to call out an abuser if you don't like them, if you don't like them. What's important, what's really hard, and what more people need to do is they need to call out abusers when the abuser is someone that they like.
Yep.
If the person doing this dodgy shit is someone that they like and admire, they need to be able to go, that's not cool. You can't do that, and try and take steps to, it's like all the stuff they talk about. Like, if your mates are making jokes and stuff, that you got to tell them it's okay, not okay to say that kind of stuff. If and that goes all around. And if you're friends with someone, if you're friends with two people and one of them says this other person abused me, and it's credible allegations, then you need
Right,
to
yeah.
not be friends with the person that was the abuser. You can't be friends with someone's abuser and then say that you're supporting the victim.
Yep.
Like,
And in saying that, which brings me on to my little bit of the next round, I'm just going to throw this one in there just because we're on the subject, is that Lisa fucking Wilkinson opening up her big fucking mouth as a fucking journalist at the Logies and jeopardising the case that is going for that girl that is...
the Brittany Higgins
The Brittany
thing. I don't
Higgins case. No,
know
she...
what Lisa Wilkinson
Okay,
said.
it doesn't, regardless of what Lisa Wilkinson said, she is a journalist, she should know better. The whole thing is going through court. The last thing you need to do is have trial by media. The trial by judge has not been done. It was fucking silly, she should know fucking better. Simple as that. That's me done.
You're done with it. All right. Well, I don't really have much of a rant sort of thing today. Do you have anything else you want to rant about, KC?
Mate, the floor is open, brother.
Just the nail in the coffin of that is just all the allegation shit. Is just don't jump to conclusions straight away when you see that media shit. Like, just accept that the media is telling the truth and that's the real story. That's what Amber's been throwing her money at TMZ, for example. And it's like, you got to, if you just believe, if the court, the whole court thing wasn't shown on live TV, so you can make your own, opinion on what was going on, you'd only have TMZ's opinion. And they were really freaking just favoring Amber Heard, which, if you watch Amber Heard, you really know what those turds, right?
She cut off his fucking finger.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to play that recording where she admitted to it because there was other people in the recording. That would have helped just open and shut the case, but she had to just dance around it forever.
Well, what I think opened and shut the case for her was when they played the video back of her telling Johnny Depp that no one was going to believe that Amber Heard had fucking abused him.
Yeah.
That no one's going to believe you, Johnny. Women don't abuse men. Like, dude, you fucking done that to yourself.
Yeah, I got really emotionally invested into that because I'm a big Johnny Depp fan.
Oh,
and
yeah,
at first,
same.
like I was still open to it. Like same like when Michael Jackson got all those allegations. I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson, so I was just like kind of in the middle. I will never jump to conclusion like, oh yeah, he's a pedo, okay, because they said he was. There's still no clear evidence on that. He's strange and unusual, but that's just the way he was brought up. I still am open to it. Maybe. See, when I heard about Amber saying that she donated all that money to Johnny Depp like years ago, I was like, okay, maybe Johnny Depp could be an idiot, but I'm not completely sold. Like I wish people thought like that. It's like majority of people I speak to, like in family and all that, they're just convinced Johnny's still a piece of trash. I'm like, have you not watched the case?
Then
Jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, and I
watch
think one of the
Channel
biggest,
9 and shit.
Yeah, one of the biggest factors for me as well is, the money from the divorce settlement that was supposed to get donated. And,
pledged.
She said, she's like, oh no, yeah, she's like, no, I pledged that, but she's like, well, it's not the same as donating it. Like, did you give the money? Did you give the money to the charity you said you were going to give it to? And she couldn't say yes without perjuring herself. So she just danced around it and said everything she could to imply yes without saying yes.
She had an excuse for absolutely everything. She didn't take responsibility for any mistakes until the very end.
Yeah. Yeah. So, So anyway, all right. I think, why don't we take it home, guys? Why don't we wrap it up? This has been so much fun, man. Thank you so much, KC, for jumping on.
Yeah, man, you're an absolute legend. A plethora of knowledge. Your career has amassed 18 years, or if we want to get into the nitty gritty of it, we're coming up to 27 years. From when that first cassette was released.
So and that's it, man. Like, we've just like touched on a little bit of your career and your accomplishments here today. So I think it'd be awesome to have you back down the line to talk about some more stuff. Maybe when Metal Murder 4K is ready to go, man, we can get you back on to talk about some more shit, man. What do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I said, I can talk forever. I'll try to keep it brief because I can fucking just talk, and it gets boring sometimes. I can't.
No, man.
I listen to myself back. I'm like, fuck, I talk too much.
That's awesome. Well, look, I told I told Kyle we wanted to get some wild stories, and I think you absolutely delivered. You absolutely delivered on some of that. So we Yeah, thank you again so much. What have you got much else coming up at the moment? Or are you just kind of hunkering down in the studio to work on this album and get it done?
Yeah, it's just that in the music videos at the end of the year, I've already got the first single, and it kind of touches on mental health, like was trying to put that in there. It's this one I've written for the fans. That's why I say 4K for the fans. This one is for the fans. So like, there's a lot of like I say, I've grown up, matured a lot since the first kind of KIDCRUSHER started, when it was all about murder and gruesome shit. And how I say I don't really, rap about watch murder, so I don't really write about murder as much. So I am putting little sprinkles of murder in there for the fans. So I'm various and things and thinking outside the box, so to say, for this album. And I think everyone's really going to be blown away by just the production value alone. And I'm excited about it. So yeah, thank you guys for having me on the show, and I wish you guys the best with the podcast, and stay fun with it. Don't stress yourself out, stay positive, and that's how you truck through the shit. Get what you want.
Man.
Put your mind to it.
Thank you so much for the advice.
Thank you so much, man. What about us, Kyle? What have we got coming up? Have you got anyone coming up on Beer Buddy?
I've got Dreams of Indigo on next Friday on Beer Buddy. Man, that's going to be a very fucking interesting one, I think.
Yeah.
And if you haven't checked it out, last week I done a psychedelics podcast. I started talking about acid and DMT, and it was a very biased, one-sided conversation. I'm not going to say it was fucking balanced in any way, but if you haven't watched it, go check it out. What about you, dude? What about you, Raffiola?
Fuck, man. Well, I mean, look, so, for those of you who may not know, Skunkbone was supposed to have a birthday show last weekend on the Friday. Bone's birthday. I was going to be celebrating my birthday. I was going to be celebrating Zach's birthday. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a stuff up at the venue. They double booked, and there wasn't a realization until only about 3 days before, which was extremely frustrating. But look, these things happen. There's extenuating circumstances in relation to the venue owner, which we're not at liberty to discuss. It's not our business to go into that stuff. So, suffice to say that while we were upset about the situation, we have no animosity towards them. It was an honest mistake, so that is what it is. The thing is, that was going to be our last gig for a while, because we're pulling back from live shows to focus on writing. So we're going to be focusing on writing for now. The next thing from Skunkbone probably isn't going to be until September-ish, maybe. I think we might have something lined up for around then. More details will be coming out soon. But in the interim, I can't quite talk about it yet. Can't go throwing any names out there yet. But Zach and myself, shut the fuck up. Zach and myself may be joining up with another band to do some stuff with them. Again, can't go into too many details right now, but maybe a show with this other band before Skunkbone returns to the stage.
Wow.
So, yeah, keep an eye out on that. If you know me in real life, if you follow me on any of my social medias, definitely keep an eye out on that, because there will be some very heavy promotion on that. We might even get some stuff happening on the podcast around that. So, yeah, keep an eye out. But other than that, yeah, I'm not doing too much, just chilling out, working. Skunkbone, we're working on these new songs, which is pretty cool. But yeah.
Before we go, sorry man, but before we go, KIDCRUSHER, you sort of said before that you live DJ on Twitch, man. Give that shit a plug, my bro.
Yeah, well, I've been a DJ for ages, so even longer than when I was doing music. So like, yeah, it's always been a just a hobby of mine on the side, just DJ. And just recently joined Twitch last year to game, but then I noticed there was a lot of people DJing, so it influenced me to upgrade. And yeah, I got vinyls and also got a MP3 scratch pad, so it's a kind of interactive show. It's not just playing music. I talk through all the songs, so it's just freaking up and down with all that. So yeah, it's KIDCRUSHER 666 on Twitch. And yeah, that is this Saturday for Australia at 1 p.m. So I can cater to the American time zone, which is in the past, it will be the Friday 9 p.m. for them, their Friday night time. And yeah, also, I forgot to mention, my band Cape Man are performing another local Adelaide show at the Enigma Bar in August with, I was going to say, Seraph, do you know these guys? Brisbane band coming down touring called Disgust.
Yeah, I know that's Disgust. I got Lance, I got the bass player Lance on Facebook, I think. Shout out to the Disgust boys. They're fucking top notch, absolutely killing it. Those guys.
Yeah, looking forward to rocking out with them. I've been in touch with them for a while, so it's just come together just recently.
That'll be a good one, man. And Enigma Bar, is it going to be the good stage at Enigma Bar? Is it going to be the good stage?
Yeah, the main stage. Yeah.
Nice. I remember, man. I went down there with Tension to Rise back in the day, and I think we were in the one that was like in the back, up the 2 flights of stairs, and
that's
all that business.
Yeah, that's called Bar 3. I played there as a Kid Crusher a couple of times as well. Usually, I prefer it doing Kid because they had like a bunch of DJ decks on the side.
Yeah.
But when the main stage doesn't.
Much love to Enigma Bar for having us on, but I was kind of like, carrying all of that shit up those stairs, man. Like, because we were full shit, like bass amps and guitar amps and everything. I'm just,
It isn't any better going to the main stage. You still have to go upstairs for that. So, yeah, it's all upstairs.
Well. Anyway, man, thank you so much again for coming on. We'll have to get you back on in the lead up to, Metal Murder 4K. Absolutely. Go check out Kid Crusher's DJ streams. Check out Beer Buddy. He's always got those awesome interviews there. Stay tuned. We're on all the socials and all that shit. Two Dudes Talk Music. If you're catching this on YouTube, we are also on Twitch. If you want the audio stuff, we're going to try and putting these out on podcast networks and everything. So keep an eye out across those. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. It's been awesome hanging out. If you got any ideas, people you want to see us get on there, any issues you want us to rant about, talk about, throw them in the chat, throw them in the comments. We'll try and get to them. Thank you so much for hanging out, everybody.
And please like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. Like, subscribe, do all that cool shit before I forget. All right, people.
Peace out, everyone.
Love yous.
See ya.